Greetings, YouTube friends. It's Joyce from Moore's Patch of Heaven Homestead, and we are in the kitchen of the tiny house. On my last video, I mentioned that I was going to show you how to make pine needle tea and the benefits. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you some different kinds of pine needles and why you should be using them and why you should be making tea, because it is simply amazing stuff, guys. This is something that we've been doing for a long time. At our other homestead, we had one huge pine tree and then one smaller. And so what I would do during the winter time is I would go pick some of the pine needles and make tea for my kiddos, because it is simply amazing. So what I'm gonna do is, if you chop it up, it makes the flavor that much stronger. And I'm always about, if it's stronger, it's gonna be that much better for you. I don't know, that's just the way I think. You can actually put it, I've got a pan on, and move that onto the burner there. You can just throw it in the pan like this and let it go. I'm gonna chop it up just because, like I said, it's gonna make it a little bit stronger. So I'm just gonna use my kitchen scissors, and I'm gonna make an entire pot full, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just put a couple of teaspoons in a cup and then pour your hot water over it and then let it steep for about 10 minutes, and then you can drink it. I like to just throw it on the stove, put all of it in the pan, which is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna show you, and then just let it go until it comes to a boil. Then I'm gonna put a lid on it, and I'm going to let it go I'm just gonna let it sit. I let it sit till it comes down and is cool enough to drink. So it'll be sitting and steeping a lot longer. And I just always feel like with all my herbs, the longer you let it steep, the more stronger and the more benefits you're gonna get out of it. So why not, you know, if you can. So with your kitchen scissors, you can just cut these up. And you know what? All of us have pine trees around somewhere. Go find them deep in the forest where you know they have not been sprayed, and just pick a bunch of it. It doesn't matter whether they're dried out or fresh. It really doesn't matter. They can be dried out and they are still full of health benefits. Some of these have started to dry. Some of them are still very fresh. So I'm gonna have a little mix of fresh and dried. I'm just gonna throw them in the pan. The pan's coming to a boil. And I'm just gonna let them go. Like I said, I'm gonna leave those on the stove with a lid on it, and I'm just gonna let it go till morning, and then we're gonna drink it. So anyway, I was just gonna read some of the health benefits. You're gonna be simply amazed. The best ones to use, they say, is the pine, the fir, or the spruce. There are hundreds of different pine trees, but these are the ones that they recommend. Not that the others don't have medicinal properties as well, but these are ones that we can probably really find. The juniper Douglas fir, they say, is the best, which, you know what? It doesn't really matter. Just don't use the Christmas trees that you buy at the grocery store, because those have been heavily sprayed and you don't want that. So even though your Christmas tree is going to die and you're going to want to use it, it's best to leave those alone and not use those, unless it's one that you're picking out of your own yard or your own homestead. Then I would say go ahead and use it. Dehydrate it. You don't really even need to dehydrate it. You can just hang them to dry. Tie the bottoms of, like, the stem. Tie it. This has been cut, of course. Tie them like this, and then just string them in your home, and they will dry on their own. and you won't have to dehydrate them. They'll just dry up nicely, and you can put them in Ziploc bags. You can even just leave them like that because the aroma is really nice for those that grow. I mean, it's so funny. Years ago, I remember Christmas trees smelling so amazing. You just don't find that anymore. This smells amazing because I just freshly picked this, and it hasn't been. What they do now is when they pick the Christmas trees, they store them in freezers, and they sit there for a very long time. So the Christmas tree that you're buying at the grocery store or at Lowe's has actually been dead for a very long time. It's not freshly cut, even though it might still be a little, soft. No, those have been stuck in freezers for a very long time. So, yeah, they've been dead for a really long time. It's just crazy to me. So that's one of the reasons why people will complain that their Christmas tree dies so quickly, because after they take it out of these freezers and then you put it in your nice, cozy, warm home, it dies, and it starts to, all these little needles go everywhere, which is absolutely crazy. We stopped that years ago just because what we did in California is we would actually have a Christmas tree that was in a pot, and we would bring it in and then we wheel it out, and after a while when it got too heavy it would get planted, but we just do an artificial. But anyway, looks like this is getting to the point where I can stick this in here. So I'm going to stick all of it in there. There we go. And I'm just going to let it still come to, turn it down a little bit, let it come to a rolling boil, and then I will turn the heat. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and then I'll turn it off and let it go for 10 minutes. But anyway, I just wanted to read some of the benefits because you're going to be blown away. It is so packed with vitamin C, which is amazing to me. It's a pain relief, guys. It can relieve pain. It's anti-aging. Okay, is that just simply amazing or what? Anti-aging. It is, of course, good for cold and flu relief. That's what I think it's key for, is for colds and flus. And if you start drinking this, if you feel the onset of something, or you can do it as a preventative and just drink it before things start, you will just ride right through because it is so good for you. It contains high amounts of shikimic acid. I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but it's the key ingredient in Tamiflu. The Tamiflu that you buy over the counter at Walmart, which is no good for you. But the main, one of the main ingredients is this shikimic acid. Can you believe that? So you can make your own Tamiflu. You don't need all those other ingredients that are going to cause all kinds of other issues. You can actually do it yourself. Let's see here. Fresh, dried, or chopped result. Okay, so freshly chopped, like I said, results in a stronger flavor. So if you don't care for the really strong piney flavor, which I don't mind at all, you would want to just put it in whole and not chop it up. Okay, several tablespoons of chopped needles added to 2 cups of water, bring to a boil, then turn it down and simmer for 10 minutes and let sit. Simmer for 10 minutes and then you can drink it. But I love to always do an entire pot. I usually will do way more than this, but I thought I didn't have as many pine needles picked as I would have liked, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to definitely be foraging for more because this is something that we will be drinking throughout the winter. Okay, it has 4 to 5 times more vitamin C than orange juice, guys. Everybody always thinks that orange juice has the most vitamin C. Well, not so. Pineneedle tea has 4 to 5 times more. Is that amazing? Just amazing. I'm telling you what, I always get so excited because I just think, the Lord just had so much planned for us. There's so much out there. If we would just become more knowledgeable of it, because it is readily available for us. It's at our fingertips. All we have to do is find it and utilize it. Let's see here. It boosts your immune system. That is where I was coming. One of the reasons I really wanted to tell you about this is because we need to really be boosting our immune system in this day and age, just because of different things that are taking place. It's just good to have a healthy immune system. Okay, let's see here. It relieves bronchial and sinus infections. Gene, when we first got married, used to have bronchitis really, really bad because his dad was a smoker. And when we first met, he was always on antibiotics. And that was something that I knew had to stop. And so we started doing, you know, more garlic, just different things. And this is one of them, is drinking pine needle tea for bronchitis and sinuses and sinus infections. It's going to really, really help with that. It's got antiviral properties, antioxidants. It's got potassium, iron, calcium, phosphorus. Loaded, guys. It is so amazing. To think a little needle off of a pine tree. It's got decongestant properties. So if you have problems with this mucus, which, you know, is definitely something that more people are having problems with right now, pine needle tea can ease the symptoms of chest congestion. Yeah, I know, huh? It breaks down all of that stubborn mucus and helps with those harsh coughs. Yeah, I know, is that crazy? Because that sounds like a lot of what's going on right now. So drink that pine needle tea. Let me stir this here real quick. Still hasn't come to a complete boil, so I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. If you could smell this right now, oh my word, the smell of pine needles has always been really something that I've loved, because living in California, they had a lot of pine trees around. So we grew up smelling that, and kind of miss that here because there's not a lot of pine trees. I mean, there are, but not like in the mountains of California where it was just like everywhere. But okay, you can add some raw organic honey, raw. Once the tea has come down to lukewarm, you never ever want to add honey to something that's boiling hot because you'll kill all of the nutrients. So make sure that you bring it down to room temperature, add some raw honey to it, and boy, I'm telling you what, it regenerates your skin, your hair, and your nails. So drink this, ladies, because it is so good. And ding, 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 helps with depression. Crazy. I know people are suffering from depression because of everything that's going on. It just seems like it's more prevalent. But drinking some pine needle tea can actually make you happy. It will help with that depression because of all the good stuff that's in it. And you can actually infuse the pine needles and make an infused vinegar, guys. Yum! What you would do is take a 1/3 cup of your pine needles in a little jelly jar and then fill it with vinegar and shake it up and let it sit for a while. And you can use that on your salad. You can use it for whatever you would use vinegar for. And then this is really good. You can actually make a pine needle shortbread. You can take the pine needles and chop them up really small. And if you like shortbread, which Gene and the kiddos love shortbread, I'm not a fan. And you can actually put the pine needles in there and it will just kick it up a notch and make it taste so yummy and earthy. See, that's what I have to say. Pine needles have that earthy feeling, you know, and I love that. And it's something that you can put in your deodorant. It's especially for men. That's really something. They kind of like that outdoorsy smell, and that's what pine is. It's really outdoorsy. But pine needle cough syrup. Yeah. That's something that you can make with the pine needles as well as a cough syrup. I'll have to do a video on that one as well, because it's not very hard to make. And the original pine salt used to be made with pine needles. I don't know anymore. We don't use pine salt because there's so many harsh ingredients in it, but apparently they used to make it with real pine needles. Go figure. Things used to be real, not so much anymore. Okay, let's see here. It can make a really refreshing foot soap too. If you like to soak your feet like an Epsom salt in one of those little foot baths, you can throw some pine needles in there too, and the smell will just rejuvenate you. I just think that smell of you, what you can do also is what we used to do growing up is, and put a towel around your head if you were real congested and sniff that, because it is so aromatic and it actually will open up all of that, your nasal passages, and so that you can breathe again. It's just amazing, guys. So amazing. You can make fire starters out of it. You get your paraffin and then snip some of that in there when you're melting your paraffin, and then put them in your egg cartons and make your own pine fire starters. I mean, the options are endless as to what you can do with it, but these are just a couple things that I thought I would tell you. A pine needle chest rub, I'll have to do a video on that as well. And that, again, like the Vicks Vapor Rub, is so healing when you are congested and you've got a cough deep in your chest. It really does work well. Let's see, pine needle mulch, of course, you know about that, and then a beard balm. You can make a beard balm out of pine needles. So this was just a few things that you can do with the pine needles. I just wanted to share that with you. I know I had said that I was going to tell you what pine needle tea was good for. That is just the tip of the iceberg, guys, but I wanted to really say that it is good for all of this that's going on in here: the chest, the mucus, the coughing, the sinuses, the bronchial, because a lot of us are suffering with that right now. So this is just one way of dealing with it yourself, naturally, without having to be put on medication and all this other stuff. And as an inhaler, like I said, you know, have that going on the stove, put a towel over your head, and just let that soak up. It is so healing. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that with you real quick. I will be sharing, like I said, the vapor rub and the balm. I will do some videos on that as well, but definitely start drinking your pine needle tea, especially if you're dealing with some of this stuff. And even if you're not, start picking it, stringing it, you know, on some twine, hang it out to dry so that you have it available when you need it. That's key, because if you start feeling that way, having to run around looking for it could be hard. So if you already have it on hand, definitely start using it. But guys, I'm gonna end for now. I would show you a cup, but I'm gonna let it steep, like I said, all night, and then we will drink that. Give it a try, let me know what you think. Leave me a comment and let me know if you've tried this before or how you use pine needles. I would love to hear. But anyway, guys, if you have not subscribed, we ask that you please do so. Give us a thumbs up, let us know you're enjoying our videos. And ring that notification bell and you'll be notified when we have another video. Until next time, guys, God bless you.